Chapter 2. Materialization of Consciousness Through the Dimensions of Reality. In all esoteric traditions, the nature of reality gets described using these elements: earth, water, fire, and air. These elements symbolically represent the dimensions of reality. Kabbalah possesses the most detailed description where these elements are depicted in the teaching of Tetragrammaton. Tetragrammaton is a four-letter word, JHVH, made up of the Hebrew letters Yod, He, Vav, He. Jehovah, the God's name, was derived to serve its purpose with illiterate folk who were not aware of the esoteric truth that this formula, JHVH, represents as the four-pole principle of the universal creation of the world through the four elements: earth, water, fire, and air. At the same time, it represents all the dimensions of creation, the four dimensions of reality by means of which everything in nature gets manifested and materialized, starting at information and down to the rough material form. In religious stories, we are being told that God made man in his image, which means that man is actually a microcosm, and that in a man's being, there are all the big cosmic laws and principles condensed. Man is the cosmos in miniature. It actually points to the holographic model of existence of all life in the universe, where every tiny fragment contains the pattern of the wholeness, since nothing is detached in nature. Above these four elements or principles, there is an additional one that is called ether. In the East, it is called akasha, which means space. Ether enables all other elements, the same way space enables everything into existence. Space is the primary condition for the existence of everything else. Therefore, this primary condition has been accurately called akasha, or space. Hence, we have the following order in the dimensions of reality: ether, air, fire, water, earth. Air, fire, water, and earth symbolically represent the universal principles of the process of emanation of everything. Ether, or akasha, is the immaterial and irreducible principle of the extensibility of their emanation. Likewise, ether corresponds to the quantum field in physics. Different dimensions of consciousness in a man's being can be divided according to the elements in the following way. The pure presence of the consciousness and alertness belong to the element of ether, akasha. The element of air marks one's inspiration and ideas, awareness that is formed and that keeps forming ideas, thoughts, and mental patterns. The element of fire is an area of mental activity, exchange of ideas, preparation, and assertion of energy for their realization, and expressing one's will in accordance with one's mindset. Water symbolizes the area where, from a multitude of possibilities, one specific idea is chosen, and with emotional empathizing, it is maintained in one constant, concrete, and visible form for focusing the energy, which eventually gets realized on the area of the earth as the physical experience. Take, for example, car manufacturing. In the element of air, it is present only as a sheer idea of more effective travel. On the level of fire, all of the possible models of transport vehicles and vessels ever made are imminent. On the water plane, one specific model has been selected and mapped out. With the genuine and persistent vesting of energy on those higher planes, by adding human labor, it gets turned into reality on the earth plane. Everything that happens in the physical world follows this footpath, and getting to know it better increases one's potential for creativity. Everything we concoct in the world of ideas and imagination, air and fire, and form strong emotional ties with on the astral, water, is materialized here on the earth. It is important to perceive that ether, which corresponds to the quantum field, is the foundation of everything, and it goes beyond it much like the space that enables everything. In our being, the microcosm, which is at the same time our essential consciousness that we are present in all the dimensions with, allows us to be aware of all the dimensions and of this entire process of materialization. If consciousness were not above it all, we would not be able to become aware of this. Other authors have explained in great detail the significance of thoughts, strong desire, and vivid imagination in the law of attraction. Only with the deeper understanding of the dimensions of reality and the principle of Tetragrammaton can we begin to realize why it is so important and what the meaning and the wider context of the impact of thoughts, desire, and imagination in the process of materialization of every idea is.